like a Rick Carlisle. Like he's going to be the coach of the Pacers for a while, you know, like, and he was the coach of he was in the Mavs before, right?
Championship,
for a while, and then he was in Detroit for a while, you know, like.
Rick Carlisle was in Detroit?
Yeah.
When?
I'm pretty sure it was either
before the Mavs?
It was when we won our championship. But I think it was either right before or right after.
It had to be before.
Our coach got fired the year before we won the ship. And I don't remember if he was the one who won it with us or if he's the one who got fired. Oh. But all that to say, like, there are coaches out there who, by and large, you kind of know he's going to be around for a couple of years. You know? And I don't feel like any of the names that they've gotten for the Lakers
are long term. And
now it does suck because this year's market is way worse. But earlier, they could have got some of these other candidates, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
I mean, I think, too... I feel like they technically they didn't because they ended up in the championship. But I wanted back then for them to get Ty Lue. I feel like they kind of fucked that whole ordeal up. And then they also had Jason Kidd, I think. So it was a really great market, I think, in that time, like when Bron first got to LA. But I just felt like they wanted. That's the thing. The Lakers organization, from the front office perspective, tries to get too into the weeds with the actual basketball strategy, and I think that turned off a lot of the coaching
that makes
hires.
Sense.
And I think a lot of the really good coaches want management to be a little bit more hands off.
Yeah, just do the fucking business shit.
The Lakers do not like that.
Yeah, because it's family run. I mean, not only with Jeannie, but like it's like Kurt Rambis, I think, is in there too, and then someone else that's always fucking meddling with shit, but it's definitely the ownership group and like the basketball opera. I mean, you saw what happened with the Magic Johnson shit. That was embarrassing.
That was hilarious, bro. They're lucky that people kind of forgot about that, but
yeah,
he's like, I can't do this.
I'm not gonna be here.
Someone also, I forgot his name. I don't know if he played against or played with Jordan, but I don't know where he was getting interviewed at or whatnot. But I saw it on like a YouTube short, and basically. He's like, the reason why Bron doesn't have as many rings because he's never been under a system. He is the system. And they basically just equated it and talked about like Jordan got 6 championships, probably would have had 8 under Phil Jackson. And it's proven he would probably have 8 because he got 5 with Kobe under the triangle offense. But with Bron, he's had so many coaching changes, he's never really had a system in
stable
place.
Ground.
His best coach, in Miami, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's when they was really his best times.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's so important where you get drafted and how that organization moves around, bro. You know,
Katie should have stayed with the Warriors. Last rehash, Celtics Cavs. I mean, we're probably not gonna spend too much time on this, but your dark horse team last 2 years, Donovan Mitchell era, they took that L 4-1. Tatum 27-7-6, Brown 23-6-3. Role players did their thing. Donovan Mitchell only played 3 games and put up 32.
That was not a good look.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like you say they got packed up, but I feel like they packed up. Like Donovan Mitchell's after a couple games, like I'm done.
And I want to ask you that too,
Jared Allen didn't
because
play.
like he had hamstring problems. Do you think he just gave up on him?
I won't.
I mean, hamstrings are tricky as hell, but it just seemed like
I won't put that on him. But I feel like we saw a lot of players in this year's playoffs play through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
OG Anunoby went out there on one leg they only let him play like 5 minutes.
You saw the picture with the owner and sitting next to him.
Buckets.
Basically they were talking about how he's like a master said I got to play or some shit like that. And they said,
oh damn,
yeah, it was just a funny shit on social media.
But
and then they also said like he probably got tranquilized with that one. That shot that the players get to
the numbness shit.
Yeah, because he was like sitting down there, the owner, the old ass owner, and he was just like, this though. So we're like, because he only played 5 minutes.
Yeah. Like, and I mean, he looked good. I mean, on offense.
Yeah,
defensively,
he
was cooked. He was cooked.
He couldn't do anything.
He was cooked.
Yeah. So,
but I just say, I say that to say, I think that it had to be really bad for him to miss all of those games.
I feel like if it was like 2-2 or 3-2, I think he would play.
I mean, maybe, but it also just does not look good when them rumors came out directly after. Obviously,
that's what's making me go back in time and be like, yo, did you?
No, he don't.
Because it all came out right after, like everything just leaked.
Yes, which is total. That's agent 101.
Yeah. So, it's crazy because like with Porzingis being out, if Jared Allen could have played and they had Donovan Mitchell healthy, it kind of makes you think what the series could have looked like. I still think the Celtics would have won, but I think it could at least won 6 games.
Yeah. I think they were playing well, especially if they had their full
core.
Yeah, their full core. But I think it also proved that, like, if it's not Donovan Mitchell that's gone, it has to be Darius Garland. Those two just can't really coexist.
Yeah, Darius Garland always loses aggressiveness too.
And I was gonna say it really should be him, but he's the homegrown one, so they're probably less likely to trade him.
Yeah, I'm happy what I saw from Evan Mobley. Like this, just for his second year responding in the playoffs, especially that closeout game for the Celtics.
Yeah,
I was like, all right, keep working on your game. You could maybe a number 2 option.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know it's still early, but I would like to see it like just a little bit more like I don't know, like a go-to move type shit. You know,
Mobley.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing too. Is like it's hard to gauge what they should do when we can't really see it. But like you said, if it is something that changes, it's one of the guards leaving. I don't really like 2 guards in the backcourt like how they had with Dame and CJ. Like that just doesn't work for me.
It doesn't.
But it all sounds like pointing that Donovan Mitchell is going to be that next person to want out. If that happens, where do y'all think he goes? Some people are saying the Knicks. He always want to go there. Some people are talking about Brooklyn Nets with the assets that they have.
I was gonna say who's on the team,
and obviously La La Land, which I think would be great for the Lakers. That'd be fire, actually. At this point in LeBron's career,
I mean, yes,
you need
LeBron's
that
career,
number 1 bucket getter. Yeah,
yes, but I think that super team shit is clipped, bro.
I don't even think. Yeah, I'm just over the name of super team now. Like,
also if they were to get Donovan Mitchell for who, for what?
Something on the Lakers side. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely gonna be the slew of like the 3 first-round picks,
future first-round picks,
which is what they're banking on, the fact that once LeBron's gone, 80 gonna get moved, and then
I just don't think that Lakers have the assets to get. When you look at what the Cavs gave up to get Donovan Mitchell, and he hasn't.
I mean,
really,
even outside of that, just these past couple trades with assets being given up. Yeah,
exactly. And it's like it's not like he played himself down while he was in Cleveland. You know, like his value didn't plummet or anything like that. I just don't think the Lakers have anywhere near enough to get him.
They don't. Yeah, they don't. They definitely don't have the best.
Unless you're trading AD. Like
fuck that.
They don't have the best package. So we'll see what happens though.
Nah, but the Celtics did what they were supposed to do. And I wasn't surprised one bit, especially like when players start to go down. So
yeah, but that's what also makes me excited about Ant's like opportunity that he has right here. Is I felt like for the longest, Tatum operated in a space where he was the best young guy outside of like the LeBron, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard era. And set up for success the best with the best team. Yeah. And it now looks like, at least from a younger generation standpoint, that Ant has almost caught up in the sense of like having a good team and having like the future. Because it felt like, I mean, obviously they've been in the Eastern Conference Finals with the last 5 or 6 years.
They feel damn near every year. Yeah.
And it's just like, obviously Ant being in the West, it doesn't affect them getting to the finals, but like it's just nice to know that there's someone else that
knocking at the door.
Yeah,
supposed to be Ja too.
I think that'll be tough though. I think it's very possible for Ant, but I think it's kind of like downplays how well the Celtics have managed that team over. Because this isn't the same team that's been making these conference finals. You know,
different makeover every
year. The East is top heavy too.
Yeah, the only 2 that really stay is Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and they've just always surrounded them with great pieces. And I think it's very possible. But if you look at the history of the Timberwolves, they don't have a history of making smart decisions. So it's hard for me to see them having that same type of sustained success where they're going to be consistently, in the conference finals or something like that.
Got you.
But they got a new GM right now, right? And I think they're trying to find a new owner.
I'm not sure.
So hopefully this is a new era as opposed to the Suns' new owner who just did some dumb shit.
But I also agree with the John Moran point. If he can put the guns down. But yeah,
I feel like Josh should get a pass.
For what? Are you talking about for just the antics?
I saw no, not for the antics, but I similar to what you were saying. I saw some other pundits talking about we thought Ja was going to be this or that, and I'm like, First of all, bro is still. This was only what, year 4 or 5 for him.
Yeah, I think he got drafted during COVID season.
Yeah, so he's still young as hell. Mm-hmm. The team wasn't good for like the first year or two, and then they were good and they got bounced, and then he's been out dealing with stuff. So I just don't think he hasn't done anything to make me believe he's any less of a player on the court.
Oh yeah,
you know?
no one ever questioned his play.
No, he's just gonna be straight, and they got a good.
Also, the moves that the Memphis Grizzlies have been making, I'm curious to see what they turn into. But I just like I love how the game's gone global, but I do hold on to like wanting to see young American players like help carry the torch with the Tatum, with the John Morant, with Anthony Edwards.
I saw
because outside that is all foreign players.
I was gonna say I saw like something on IG where they show like the last 5 MVPs have been from international players. I'm like, damn, man.
Yes. Also crazy. The last I want to say 4 or 5 champions haven't made the conference finals.
Say that again?
The last 4 or 5 champions have not even made the conference finals the next year.
Oh, the following year.
Damn.
You look back like the Lakers, the Heat. Actually, the Heat didn't win, but the Lakers. Now the Nuggets, the Warriors.
You're right.
I'm trying to think of who else won, but yeah.
Toronto didn't too.
Toronto.
You're right. Damn, that's crazy. So I also like that with the destroying of the super team, like because it got to a point where we knew it was going to be Warriors versus Cavs for like, or it was going to be
it was either going to be LeBron or Steph who was going to get
shit. So now it's kind of dope to see. Like, I really don't know, at least right now from the West. This year, obviously Celtics were the favorite, but I feel like if the other top teams were healthy, maybe they could have given them a run for their money. But now it's cool going into the season, going into playoffs, being like, I don't know, there's favorites, but I really don't know.
Yeah.
Do you feel like though, and this is like my thinking, that like it is great, it's amazing being in like this time of parity.
Yeah.
But I also feel like, at least for me, it makes me
hard to be loyal to a team.
Well, no, it makes me appreciate more that time. I think that's like a special time where we knew like we got to see these people go at it like 4 or 5 years in a row straight, like and just see that type of greatness on display.
Yeah.
I think that's like special. Now we might not ever see something like that again.
Yeah. Especially with the new CBA and everything too.
Yeah.
So that's going to be tough. Last 2 segments of the night. Well, 3, because I want to talk about your Bronny. So let's talk about Bronny before we get to the conference previews. Obviously, Bronny's been catching major headlines right now. Obviously, his dad's LeBron James. But what is your whole thought process on that? With him being drafted potentially X, Y, and Z, you think he's even going to be drafted? His upside would like. You the inside man. What's up?
I would say it's been OD, guy. Like it's been OD as far as like just the amount of
coverage he's been receiving.
Yeah, but I'll say this though, I haven't really been paying too much attention to ESPN and their coverage of him, but Bleacher Report, because I have the Bleacher Report app.
Yeah.
Like the only like notifications or like the posts or not posts. Well, yeah, posts, but also like fucking articles they made. It's just all been focused around Bronny, but I think it also magnifies because of the actual draft class itself not having that.
How bad it is.
Yeah, or like just having that talking point prospect, obviously like a Wemby or like a Jason Tatum or Zion Williamson. Like there isn't that player in this draft, so it feels like the talking point is Bronny's son or LeBron's son. We gonna kind of lead with that.
Yeah.
As far as him being a prospect, he needs to go back to school because
that's what I said.
He doesn't have a multitude of games where he's playing as the lead guard, like the point guard, and the GMs and like the scouting reports coming out of the combine have been basically he's an undersized off guard, and when he's at the point guard position, his playmaking ability isn't as good as it needs to be at this level. Like somebody, some unnamed anonymous scout called him
Davion
like
Mitchell.
No, it was the poor man's Davion Mitchell, and I was
that's
like, that is disrespectful.
That's awful. Davion not even cracking like 18 minutes a game.
I was like, that's crazy. And then they also said he couldn't shoot, but his form is good. Like he definitely has the ability to improve on that. In the combine, I mean, you can only learn so much from those that setting, but I think going back to school, because in high school he didn't have the ability to be the lead guard because it was Amani Bailey or something like that. It's Amari Bailey, I think. He was the lead point guard at the time at Sierra Canyon. And then when he went to USC, it was Isaiah Collier, who's also another lottery pick point guard. So this time, if he goes back to school, I think he needs to transfer away from USC because it's just not a good situation. Plus, the coach that recruited him is no longer there. He got fired because of how bad they were last year. Mm-hmm. He needs to go to a place where he can play point guard for 35 games, 40 games, and show the scouts that he can play that position because he's too small to play two guard in the NBA.
Yeah, because they said when he weighed him
6'1",
weighed everything 6'1". That's crazy. I don't know how all the height.
They be fucking with it. They be. I don't know how they be doing it in college, but they do not.
Because he measured as 6'4" before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought he was 6'4" this whole time. I'm taller than this nigga.
You said Malik Monk, and I was like, nah, it's gonna be Cole Anthony because his ass is.
Yeah, Malik Monk 6'3"
or 6'4", I think. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, that's tough. I think he should definitely go back to college, but
that's tragic. Your dad's 6'8" and you.
And Bryce is 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah, 6'5", 6'6".
And he's not even 18 yet.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna end up being the one. Not the one as good as his dad, but I think he's gonna be
good.
Yeah, as far as a Malik Monk, yeah, I can see that for sure.
So
and he got the balance too. So.
Well, there was your insight from Terrence Whaley. Moving on to the conference finals preview. Eastern Conference Finals, Celtics are going up against Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers in the regular season. Like we said, it don't really matter, but that's all we can kind of go off of right now. Celtics won 3-1, and all 3 games that the Celtics won, they on average won about 25 points per game. What are y'all thoughts on this matchup? I know it's going to be quick, but what are y'all thoughts on this?
You want to go, Carl?
I think that I definitely would pick the Celtics to come out of the series. But I think that it'll, especially if Porzingis continues to be out, it might get interesting. Mm-hmm. I think that the Pacers have a lot of rotational pieces who can get buckets.
Yeah,
and I think
the offense is a question.
Yeah, I think that showed, and I think that the Celtics can beat themselves, and that Jaylen Brown can turn it over a bunch. Jason Tatum, he's gonna have one.
They kind of force you to play fast than what you normally play. Jason
Tatum is gonna have at least 1 to 2 bad shooting nights in this series because he always does.
Falls in love with damn 3 a lot.
Yeah, so I think that they would definitely be able to maybe get a game or two, and make it interesting. But overall, I'm gonna have to go with the Celtics.
Yeah, I think Pascal gonna struggle a little bit more compared to the Knicks just because of the bodies that they have for him. And I think Tyrese Halliburton's gonna have a lot cut out for him as well too, where you can put multiple bodies on him. So that should be interesting. But even without Porzingis, I think it only goes 5 games. They wrapped it. They packed that shit up ASAP.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go up 2-0. I think they're going to go up 3-0, and maybe they get a game, and then they just gentleman sweep. So.
Okay. I'm going to be the bold one here and say it's going 6. No, that's not bold for real.
That's why I feel like 6 is.
Yeah, he said 2 games. So you said season 6?
Okay.
I said season 5.
Yeah, I think Celtics will pack it up. I think there will be moments where, again, Indiana will speed them up on offense.
That's probably gonna be the first game. That's if it's any game to steal, it's probably game 1.
Yeah,
Celtics
they will let you steal it.
They will. And then they just be like, all right, let's actually wake up. I feel like if y'all watch Dragon Ball Z, they just know Kaioken right now, the Celtics. And that's actually turn it up.
And that's the thing. I feel like they'll give up a game and then they'll course correct. And I think where Indiana is right now in their maturation process, they're not in a spot to be able to hit back to this team. So
I just even if it's a sweep, goes 5, 6 or whatever, I just wanted to at least kind of be like the Denver and the Lakers series where they're at least close games, because I haven't really seen the Celtics be in a high pressure type moment. I mean, probably just game 3, I think, against the Cavs, where it was a little bit back and forth, and I was like, all right, this is kind of cool to see JB and Jason Tatum kind of take off. But I want to see them in high leverage possessional games in the fourth quarter. Like, give the ball to your best player. Let's see what y'all do. Because my biggest thing was when they play in the crunch time, they kind of act a little bit goofy. So I want to see that with them. And then I also want to ask you guys, is like, obviously you got to play who's in front of you, but I feel like whoever comes out the West will be battle tested. They might be a little bit more worn and torn down a little bit. But do you think that's going to be to the Celtics' disadvantage because they haven't been in high leverage or any good games?
I mean, I feel like you could say that, but I think their talent is enough to overcome that. Especially if we're talking about like Dallas, because I will say this, like, the thing about Dallas in the last few years, other than having the bodies like they have this year with Gafford and PJ and Derek, you know, they gonna mimic Luka's mentality, like as far as like all that bitching and complaining to the refs and shit, like in a series where you know it's either going 6 or 7, like you got to be able to keep your composure, you got to be able to like take hits and not, you know, just be mentally tough type shit. And I feel like the Minnesota has that, where it could kind of overcome the Celtics as far as their talent goes, just because I feel like their toughness could kind of be the edge and factor in that type of series and go 7 and win a game 7 on the road.
They proven they can win on the road.
So, but as far as Dallas, I don't think it'd be enough going against Boston, just because of, I feel like Luka, you know, he just, there are times, there's stretches in minutes in games where he like completely loses himself, I feel, you know, and that can cost you in a playoff game.
Get easy buckets in transition. So with that being said, Minnesota versus Dallas. I think that's the series conference finals that we're all excited about. How do y'all feel about that?
Yeah, I'm a general Kyrie Irving fan and Ant-Man fan, so I'm just gonna be happy for both sides.
But I feel like with your heart, you going with Kyrie on that side, right?
Yeah, just because, like I said, with the age, and you know, has time on his side. Kyrie's like what, 31, 32?
31, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, you know, he ain't you know on the sunset either, but
he's still an old head for the young
sure.
talent going off.
Sure. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely want to see Kyrie get his second. I really wasn't fucking with Stephen A when he was going hard on him, like during
the Israelite days.
Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets saga. So I want to see him, you know, get his time and get his
prime John Wall.
I know, man.
Dog.
I remember you said we're gonna wear all black because it's a funeral.
This is like a 4-year peak that people don't talk about. Is John Wall?
Nah, he carried, bro. He carried.
But y'all saw that crazy quote he said about Steph?
What?
John Wall?
Yeah.
I saw what Brandon Jennings said with Donovan Mitchell. He was out of pocket. Anyways.
I didn't see that one.
I'm gonna show you that.
He basically was just like, he said he wouldn't survive in my era, which was
play in the same era.
In the same era.
That's what I was like.
Talking about.
He had to be on the strong shit. Cause
Steph was drafted a year before that nigga.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
What are you talking about?
We're on the same page. I don't know what he meant by that. He literally said that shit.
Too. But anyways, back to Dallas and Minnesota. So you said you're talking about Kyrie being the vet, Stephen A. Smith and media kind of crushing and vilifying him and stuff like that. Yeah. And this is the first time he's been in the conference finals since the Bron era, I think, because he only played 3 seasons with Bron, right? Injured first year, so couldn't do nothing. Won in 2016, and then 2017 they lost 4-1. So yeah. This is cool. I think he's a natural shooting guard who can play make. So to have another LeBron-esque type of player with him where he can just focus on scoring, I think that's nice for him. So I'm proud of where he came. And if I always said too, if everyone was healthy, if Dallas could just avoid, in my mind, the Clippers healthy and then the Nuggets, I think they could have went to the conference finals, because just seeing Luka, I saw what he did with Brunson, you know what I'm saying? So having another bucket getter like that, with how they reconstructed that roster, they can definitely compete. So I'm happy about that. But Kyrie does get bothered a lot by size. So I'm curious to see, and just on his MJ, it just came out and said post game, he's like, I'm guarding Kyrie. So I'm excited for that. So I feel like he's going to start off on Kyrie, but I think they're going to want to put more length on him. And I think throughout the series, Luka is actually going to be guarded by Ant. And I think they're going to put Jaden McDaniels on Kyrie Irving. So I'm curious to see. I like the buys that they have. I like the buys that they have for those two stars and then the bigs. Like, Rudy Gobert, like, doesn't have to, especially if Max Kleber don't come back, Rudy Gobert doesn't have to worry about getting whored by a Joker type of player. So I think his team defense is definitely going to show this series more than it did last series. And I think Cat should put up his regular season numbers, and I think Naz Reid's going to play a little bit more efficient as well too. So I think they're definitely going to be well on the glass, and I think they're just going to dominate too. So in my mind, I feel like it's kind of hard to bet against. Just in the Western Conference, I feel like it's hard to bet against Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves with what they got going on right now. And I still don't know how Luka's knee is going to be because they're going to be physical with that motherfucker too.
Yeah.
But you beat the Suns' big three. You beat the defending champs. I don't see why they don't, get the Dallas Mavericks out the way. So I was wilding this morning. Before I met up with y'all, I said 5, but I'm gonna give Dallas a little bit more respect, and I'm gonna say Minnesota wins in 6.
Okay.
I think that Dallas is gonna win this series.
Oh shit! You trying to put bread on it?
Sure.
Minnesota fans in the chat already.
Just a lunch. Just put lunch on it.
Okay.
Just straight up. Okay,
but I think that
this is cool.
Where y'all going?
Wherever.
Yeah, I know we figured.
Nothing too crazy though. Just like a $20 limit. Just get some like pizza or some shit.
I think that. I know we kind of talked before about Ant needing to show certain things in this playoff run.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like in that last series, he consistently showed me that he can take over this next series. And I especially don't, and this is like projecting even further, but say like the Wolves were to win this series, I actually wouldn't trust them. I wouldn't trust them in the finals either against the Celtics. I would trust Luka and Kyrie way more in the finals.
Yeah.
Because as much as, even when Luka wasn't shooting well, I feel like he's still more consistent. And honestly, we've seen him in the playoffs more and seen that he can, do certain things, and especially Kyrie.
Yeah.
And I think that also to me is why I'm taking them in this series. I think that they have a nice young deep team as well. They have the bigs that can go up against the bigs. And there really is no number 2 on Minnesota. I know it's supposed to be Cat, but like he's really, a lot of his shit is catch and shoot. Like he can get on the block and do some stuff, but
he's basically like Kevin Love with the Cavs.
Exactly. Like I feel like having a number 2 like Kyrie, that duo is way better than the duo to me of Ant and Cat. And I think that now Luka has a couple more days off. If he plays anything like how he played in every other playoffs before this one, I think that they're definitely going to win. And especially if Kyrie decides that he wants to like play well in the first and second halves, then I think that they just have a better shot in my mind.
He played well from a scoring standpoint. He played well in 4 out of the 7 games. And like what I said, like what I liked, because it's weird. It's not just about him. Like I just feel like the team just, obviously like their defense is great, but the team just finds a way to rally together. But he played well 4 games. One of those games, Mike Conley didn't play, and they kind of tripled him a lot, and he was forced to. He didn't know when to be aggressive versus when to play make as well too. So I think Mike Conley definitely helps with that. But I think this series we're gonna get some consistency, like even from what we saw like against Phoenix as well too. Obviously, I think Dallas is a better defensive team, but I think this series he's gonna be consistent scoring, in my opinion.
I hope.
Yeah.
I just think I for sure for me I trust Luka at this point. I trust Luka more than I do Ant.
Yeah. I mean you have to.
Yeah.
You kind of have to from a scoring standpoint, but. I think,
there's definitely from a of course defensively is not even a question, but
and then I'm also curious because you can argue, I mean from both sides the role players really won the series for them, but I'm still waiting for some reason for PJ Tucker and Derrick Jones Jr. to run out of luck. They've been playing extremely well,
but Derrick Jones Jr. was like he was hitting threes this season.
Yeah, he only really stepped up the last 2 games from a scoring standpoint, but his defense has been pretty good.
Yeah, but I think like his contributions, I feel like he can give you that, like 8-9 points. He can hit threes because he was doing it all this season. The defense is going to be there. It's PJ Washington that I feel like is definitely more of like the.
Because if PJ Washington isn't, because would y'all argue he's been their number 3?
Oh yeah,
because if he don't play well this series, they're not winning.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But that's also like who's the number 3 on Minnesota? I guess Mike Conley.
It's weird. It always kind of changes because like the last 2 games you can argue was Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe Nas Reed. I don't know. It always changes the pecking order.
I was gonna say Jaden.
Jaden. Mm-hmm. I think he's gonna have a good series again too.
I don't know.
He impressed me. He impressed me with the Sun series, and he turned it up a notch the last couple games. I think that's gonna continue.
The Mavs aren't Minnesota, but they're a good defensive team too. Still, so that's also my thing. Is like, I just don't. It's not like they're about to play the Pacers. Like they're about to get a bunch of easy shots or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't just say that Jaden McDaniels is about to have a good series either, because he's about to have. If Derrick Jones isn't on him, PJ Washington is going to be on him, and he's not like. There was nobody in the Denver series like that who could be on him. Honestly.
I mean, I feel like Aaron Gordon's he had to guard.
He had to guard.
There's only some possessions where he guarded. Yeah. But I feel like he's a better defender. I think. As a tandem, I think Aaron Gordon and KCP are better defenders than PJ and Derrick Jones Jr.
I feel like it's a little harder though, because I think that KCP's a better perimeter defender, but those two are more like wing defenders.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying like more so to the Jaden McDaniels point. I don't see this being all of a sudden a series where he has the ability to go off or something like that, because he's about to still have good defenders on him.
Yeah, and the Nuggets move the ball a lot more, play more fast pace, and I feel like having Luka and Kyrie, especially Luka on there, they kind of play slower. So I feel like that's going to work into Minnesota's defense too in the half court. So that's something to definitely look out for. They're not. I feel like they're an average scoring team, but if they can get some stops and score in transition, they are going to be tough to beat. But I'm curious to see the adjustments that Jason Kidd and what's the coach name for Minnesota? Finch make.
But it's honestly also really Mike Nori right now too.
Yeah.
Because he blew out his knee. Finch.
Mike Conley.
Insane,
I'm curious to see Luka's knee, Mike Conley's Achilles, because he had to miss a game, and now they on them that slave time. They playing every other night now.
I really don't know who to pick yet, bro. But I really feel like the thing that could go is Luka's health, bro. Like I feel like I understand your pick and what you're saying.
Physical with
but if Luka like
all that crying you saw him do, Minnesota gonna get out in trends. They got athletic. I mean, they both athletic on both sides, but they gonna get out in transition and get easy buckets. We gonna complain like that.
If we being real too, Ant was doing a whole lot of complaining in that series. He just was just getting back a lot better.
I was gonna say that he was getting
also
back.
faster.
Yeah, he was getting back. It was more so like
Ant was complaining more so like almost all his calls.
Dead
he
balls,
was getting fouled too.
Dead balls, timeouts. He's arguing with the ref, but for the most part, he's getting his ass back on defense.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the stars complain. I feel like Luka definitely whines, and so does Jokic a lot too. The whole like he be putting his hands out to niggas all the time.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting because like I'll say this. Joker has enough of an IQ where he can at least stay in front of his man if they're playing with their back to the basket, traditionally speaking. But I do like Derek Lively and Gafford matchup, guarding Rudy Gobert and guarding Naz Reid and Karl-Anthony Towns.
Guarding Rudy Gobert.
You know what I mean? I like the big matches because like Joker's not really known for his defense.
With you, bro.
So
I'm just every time that that's why that fade. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's why that fadeaway was so big, was because all throughout that series and that game, anytime he tried to create any type of offense, it looked hilarious, and he was missing every shot.
It's almost as if when you watch him, like he's never played basketball before.
Bro,
it's so weird.
Bro, it was so funny because like Siobhan even noticed it like
so
as she
awkward,
watches, she's
right?
like, bro, this nigga should be on the floor. I'm like, I know.
You notice that run came when they took him off the floor.
Yeah.
So I'm also happy about that. Like the coach isn't gonna live and die with him. It's like, yo, if you're not contributing, nigga, we're gonna take you off. I like that. So yeah, we're gonna see. It's gonna be real interesting. But I'm curious to see the role players. So Derrick Jones, PJ, and what's the light skinned dude name that come off the bench?
Oh, you talking about for Dallas?
Josh Green.
Oh, Josh.
Yeah,
Josh Green.
It is Josh Green.
Josh Green. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do as well. So
Hardy played pretty good too this last series when they actually played him.
And
what's Maxey Cleveland's
Tim Hardaway Jr. is still healthy, right? I can't remember.
Yeah, he's
up and down. He's the most inconsistent out of all of them.
You know how they be saying like someone is when they were talking about the basketball players, like he's
X-Factor?
LeBron of this or whatever. Tim Hardaway Jr. is like the Tobias Harris of J.R. Smith's.
Oh, damn.
Okay, like that nigga is
crazy.
Low grade J.R. Smith because he does the same shit. He just go out there and like it was one of the games I think in the first round series where he ended up scoring like 10 straight points and helped them win the game. Mm-hmm. And then the other 4 games he get out there and he just go 0 for 8. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. I wonder if Rudy is actually going to get played off the floor again.
I just see Kyrie and Luka pulling him away from that basket, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Over and over.
Yeah. But that's why I like that they have other versatile bigs, too. So, yeah, this is going to be a defensive masterclass, I think, and I'm looking forward to that. I think every game is going to – because a lot of the Nuggets in Minnesota blowouts, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, I think this one's going to be a lot closer. So, I'm excited. But I got Minnesota in 6. You got Dallas in how many?
I say 6.
6, and then
I'm going to go Minnesota in 7.
Oh, you're just going to back out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to go Minnesota in 7.
Okay. All right. We're going to see. I think, I'm curious to see, like, the efficiency with Kyrie. And, I mean, the efficiency kind of goes out the door as playoff basketball, but, like, I'm curious to see Luka and Kyrie's efficiency this round.
But the reason why I'm not hating is I would love to see a Dallas in Boston finals. Like, I think that just from a star power perspective, that'd be great to see.
Oh, too, so. Absolutely. Especially Kyrie going back to Boston. Yeah. He don't play well in Boston either, too. Mm-hmm. So that would be nice. But, yeah. I wanted to say whoever won the Nuggets and Timberwolves would not only go into the finals, but would come out the West. But the more I think about it, I think whoever comes out the West right now, I think if Porzingis is healthy, the Celtics should win it all, in my opinion. So we're going to see.
Okay.
I just don't know how good the Celtics are.
I know it's so hard to gauge. It's so hard.
They be fucking around.
But like you said, I'm just relying on their talent.
They've gotten, and it's not their fault. They can't do anything about it. But like they've gotten, like one of the easiest,
easier than any Brown ones either. Like literally,
everyone injured. Yeah,
that's why I asked you earlier. I didn't even get to get your opinion on it. Like, how much does that matter? Them not being battle tested as opposed to the West Gauntlet.
I don't know. I think the only thing that might have an effect is like the fatigue thing. Like, honestly, this is a different, but like I was watching that Nugget series and it made me feel like if the Nuggets made it to the finals, they weren't going to have enough to be able to win against the Celtics because they were having to already play their dudes like to death. So I think that might be a factor, but I think that the teams left in the West are deep enough that the fatigue isn't going to be as bad. And, there's always the rest versus rust thing, but I think that as long as they don't get injured playing these extra games, like they'll be fine.
Yeah. Nah. Okay, cool. Any closing remarks for episode 143? I mean 144, my fault.
Donovan Mitchell, welcome to the West Coast, man. My nigga. Other than that, I hope y'all moms had great Mother's Days. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to moms.
Damn, that was a minute.
And yeah, we ain't been on in a minute, but yeah, other than that, yeah, just stay yourself.
Did you just put that up?
Oh yeah, Wheezy. Yeah.
You just sleep with that blanket.
I used to, yeah. And then I got the throw blanket right there too. So yeah, we upgraded a little bit.
Oh yeah, one thing I want to say, this just pertains to the NBA on my Anthony Edwards bandwagon, but I was thinking about this shit. Like, obviously, like we talk about chinks in the armor, but I feel like 10 years from now, no one's gonna talk about the casual fan. 10 years from now, 5 years from now, no one's gonna talk about what the Suns didn't have. They're just going to look at the names attached.
Mm-hmm.
So in saying that, this would be one of the best runs by a young player if you dismantle the Suns' big three, beat the reigning champs, brand name, like we said, Kyrie and Luka, then the Celtics, who were the overwhelming favorite. That would be a fire-ass run if he happens to pull it off. I don't think he will, but that would...
If he does, it's a D-Wade run.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So,
yeah,
we're going to see. Only time will tell. Ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 144 of The Seezus Show. Make sure to subscribe on all forms of social media at Conyers Terrence Whaley _ search Seezus. The Seezus Show. Appreciate you paying behind closed doors. We out.
Peace.